happy new year to all subscribers and everyone watching the Yankees disaster of an offseason. I'm kidding. No. Thank you so much for everyone that watches the Pinstripe Chronicles and the Yankified podcast. Everyone, I wish everybody that's watching a happy and safe new year. I hope you guys had great Christmases with your family. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, and happy holidays. I hope all of you guys had a really beautiful time with your families. And so I certainly did. And I'm excited for a new year for our channel. Continue to grow this thing. It's going to be a different looking channel moving forward, but we'll have some breaking news on that moving forward. But we'll be doing the best we can to push the Yankified and the Pinstripe Chronicles further and greater than ever before. Because last year was probably our best year. Last year was definitely our best year. And this year's going to be an even better one. I promise you that. So thank you to everyone that's subbed up. Thank you for everyone that's become a member. Thank you to everyone that's done all they can to share this channel out. So big salute to you. Big salute to everyone. Now that's all the pleasantries out the way. Let's get into this mess. This is a mess. And it's time now to ask some serious questions about what on earth is going on. I don't want anybody to be buying even a freaking badge, a freaking pin, a freaking shirt. I don't want anyone to buy a ticket until the Yankees actually show some goddamn ambition. This is a joke. This is a joke. This is a failure of an offseason, an embarrassment of an offseason. It's a disgrace to everything that the Yankees are. It's a disgrace to the city. It's a disgrace to the franchise, and it's a disgrace to the fan base that they are basically pleading poverty. It is an embarrassment. I don't know how Hal Steinbrenner sleeps at night. I really don't. I don't know how Brian Cashman sleeps at night. Because one side of their mouth, they're saying, oh, we're poor. What about all our expenditure? Everything, all our expenses, Randy Levine, Hal Steinbrenner. Oh, what about what we owe to the city of New York? Oh, we don't know. We don't actually make that much profit, honestly, seriously. So they're saying that on one side of their mouth, while the other side of their mouth, they're sending out season ticket packages. Please take up on our season tickets. Please spend extraordinary amounts of money to watch this failure of product. Everyone should be ashamed of themselves that they're involved in the Yankees. Everyone. Please buy our season ticket packages. Please take more and more of our season ticket packages. Please fill out our luxury seats. Please keep buying those luxury frickin' seats. Keep doing that. Please keep doing that. Please spend $100 in parking. Please bring your whole family. Spend $1,000 to go to a game in the freezing cold of April to watch a completely exactly the same team as last year. Please do that. And please do that when you're $1,000 poorer in the process, all things considered. That's what they're saying to you. But they're poor. We're poor. We're poor, guys. You know, but please keep filling our pockets. Please keep lining our pockets next year. But we're not going to give you the product that you deserve. That is a shame. That is a shame. It's shameful. Shameful to everyone involved. There are not enough voices out there, and I'm proud to be one of them, that is fighting against this, because this is a disgrace. And every fan deserves better. Every fan that watches, you guys deserve better. Whether you agree with me or not, you guys deserve better. Even the ones that disagree with me, you still deserve better. Because when you root for this, You deserve the best. You guys deserve the best. You deserve the best product because you spend the most money. You do. Because the Yankees are an incredibly expensive product to watch. You have 6,000 streaming services you need to subscribe to watch all their games. It's a fortune to go to the stadium now. It is, and at the same time, they don't give you the best product. They sell you the 27 championships. They sell you the past. They sell you 2009. They sell you the 90s dynasty. They sell you the 20s, the 30s, the 50s, the 60s. They sell you the 70s. They sell you on the past. They sell you on the 27 championships. But they do not sell you on the future. Why? Because at the moment, there is nothing to watch. There's Aaron Judge, continue to be historic, and no team around them. But they'll never admit it. But I'll admit it for them. What they're doing is not good enough. Tatsuya Imai answered so many issues this offseason. Brian Cashman, that lying son of a bitch, said at the start of the offseason that they needed a pitching. They needed pitching. That's what he prioritized. They need starting pitching. That was his priority. He also said, we need to get back in the Japanese market. The lying son of a bitch. Yo, Brian, you are a lying son of a bitch. That's what you are. You're a lying son of a bitch. You're a great politician. You're an asshole of a GM, though. And I'll sell that for frickin' free. You said it's really important that we get back in the Japanese market. Well, how have you done that? Huh? Murakami didn't get signed by the Yankees. He went to the White Sox. Weren't even interested. Imai, who is exactly what you needed, he's now an Astro. And by the way, by all reports, you weren't interested in that either. So you're just a liar. You had no interest in breaking back into the Japanese market. And Okamoto, he's probably going to go to the Pirates. So everything that Brian Cashman sells you guys, he ain't following up on. He ain't following up on what he says. He says, we need to get starting pitching. What's he done? We're in January 1st. He's required no starting pitching. We need some righty bats. January 1st, no righty bats. We need to get back in the Japanese market. And no Japanese players are coming in. He lies to you guys square in the face, and so many of you guys buy it, man. You'll buy it. Don't buy it. Stop buying it. Stop buying it. Expect more. Demand more. And maybe, just maybe, you might start getting more in return. Because it's time to put your foot down. It really is. It's absolutely disgraceful. It's shameful, man. This is the New York Yankees. It's time to start expecting better from your franchise. It doesn't make you less of a fan to demand more. Trust me. In fact, it probably makes you more of a fan that you stand up going, you know what? This is a farce. They make $800, $900 million of profit every single year, regardless of what Hal Steinbrenner says to you guys. That's what they make. They are the most profitable franchise in all of baseball. Don't let Hal Steinbrenner lie to you and convince you otherwise. That is the facts. They are the most successful franchise in baseball history, the most successful franchise in all of North America, and they are the most profitable franchise in all of North America. So do not allow Hal Steinbrenner to lie to you. He has the budget, and he has every way and resource possible to put the best product out on the field for us as fans. He does. He just is choosing not to. Do not accept being second best. That's not what the Yankees are. We're not a second best organization. That's not what we should be. It's time to start demanding better. Now let's look at this Tatsuya situation. There is absolutely no excuse for us not to be in the Tatsuya. No excuse whatsoever. No excuse not to be interested in him. Look at what he went for. Multiple opt-outs. Opt-outs every single year of his 3-year deal. 3 years, $63 million. That's it. And the Yankees couldn't get in on that. $18 million per year. The Yankees couldn't get in on that. Even though, if you look at the state of the rotation, they badly need starting pitching. Let's look at the state of the rotation as is, okay? Because we need to fight against the narrative. We need to fight against what the Yankees are selling you. Because the Yankees are selling you a mediocre product at top price. Well, I'm going to give you guys a reality check. Garrett Cole's coming off major surgery. Tommy John surgery, for Christ's sake. You're expecting him to now pitch like prime Garrett Cole. And he's not even going to be ready for the start of the year. So maybe you're looking at June for that. Okay? Rodon, surgery. You're asking for Rodon to pitch exactly the same as he did last year. It's possible, but again, he's not going to be healthy for the start of the year. We continue. Clark Schmidt, surgery. Again, he's probably the farthest away of the three. And he's never been healthy his entire career. You're now expecting him to pitch like he did prior to the injury. Right off the bat, absolutely no cobwebs, boom. Ready to go, probably by July, right? This is what you're expecting. Cam Schlittler, fantastic. Luis Gil, you expect him to be better than he was, but again, that's just 2/5 of the rotation that's going to be available for the start of this year. Max Fried, you have to rely on him to pitch exactly the same as he did last year. That's a lot. That's a lot. It's a lot to expect. He's had some injuries in the past. He now needs to pitch possibly even better than he did last year. Okay. So it's still 3/5 of your rotation. Then what? Will Warren, he's not a high-end pitcher. He's fine. He's solid. Not more than that. Then fifth starter, you don't have one. You go Yarbrough, maybe. And that's if nobody gets hurt in spring. Not much depth there. And by the way, the bullpen is not even been touched yet. Will Warren, as Doran says here, Will Warren is an innings eater with solid stuff, but he is homer prone. Okay, yeah, he's what I would class as a fifth starter. Solid fifth starter, but you still need another starter. Imai is sitting there. He's only going to cost you money and only $18 million, and there is no commitment beyond that because there's multiple opt-outs. Could opt out at the end of this year. No harm, no foul. No harm, no foul. If he isn't good, fine. There was no reason not to be in on this. Don't let the Yankees sell you a substandard product. It's not good enough. There was no reason not to be in on this. What is their process? I want to know what Brian Cashman's process is, because this process sucks. Well, let's be honest here. This process sucks. This rant's going on, by the way. This rant, I'm 15 minutes strong. This rant is going. Trust me, I'm going to slow down, and then we'll get into the chat. But I'm still cooking here. This is a ridiculous joke that he signed for the Astros, and the Yankees weren't even interested. There was no harm, no foul. There was no reason why we couldn't go in on that. So here's the reality, right? $18 million for Tatsuya for this year. What did we pay Marcus Stroman last year? Answers on a postcard. Come on, guys. And it'll be up the chat. What did we pay Marcus Stroman last year? What did we pay him last year? Huh? We paid him that to suck with a 6 ERA. 18.5 million. Boom, you got it. That's what you win, Johnny. Facts. 18 million. We paid exactly that for a 6 ERA and paid him off mid-season because he was not good. But we'll pay him, but we're not going to pay someone from Japan who is the best pitcher in all of Japan and all of freaking Japan. Yeah, this process is great. This Brian Cashman process is fantastic. What a fantastic process, Brian. Freaking tap yourself on the back, bro. What a process. Your process where you completely misallocate the money for Marcus Stroman, but you have no money, of course, for Tatsuya. Of course. Tatsuya pitched to a 1.5 ERA last year in Japan. Now, I'm not saying he's going to pitch to 1.5 ERA in the majors. We don't know that. Okay, so let's add a run and a half to that. Let's add a run and a half to that by transferring over to the majors. That's a 3 ERA. That's excellent. And you'd only be paying him $18 million a year. His stuff is freaking phenomenal. His stuff is phenomenal. He has a 27% strikeout percentage in Japan. He makes makes batters look stupid, and he would make batters look stupid here too. And the Yankees were too cheap. Too cheap for $18 million. Too freaking cheap. They need a starter. And they passed. A couple of years ago, they paid Marcus Stroman more to suck. And you're telling me that Brian Cashman's process is great. His process sucks. He has no clue about the current market because he's misread the market already this year. Completely misread it. He thought that Trent Grisham would turn down that qualifying offer. He thought that he would take a long-term deal elsewhere and he'd get a 4th-round pick. That's what he thought. He thought that $22 million was good value. He was wrong. He misread that. No one was paying him $22 million. Not a single soul on earth was going to do that. Not a single soul would do that. And now it's completely almost ruined our offseason. Now we're too cheap to sign Imai. It's dreadful. Now, of course, you could come at me and say, all right, well, hey, wait. They could still make a trade for a starter. They could trade for a better starter. It's going to cost a ton of our prospects. It's probably going to cost one of Spencer Jones and Dominguez to bring in another star in the building. When all we needed to do was just sign Imai, and our rotation problems were solved. We're back in the Japanese market, and guess what? We keep a hold of our prospects. There was no reason not to be in on this. The only other argument would be, oh, but you don't know if he's going to be good or not. You don't know if he's going to transfer to the major leagues. Dude had a 1 ERA in Japan. The worst case scenario is he pitches to like a 3.70 ERA in the majors. 3.80. That's still fantastic. That's like third starter, second starter material. And we could have had him for 18 mil. Instead, we've allowed the Astros to get better. So once again, the American League continues to get better and the Yankees continue to get worse by doing nothing. You see? So there's really no excuse. There is no excuse. There was no excuse not to be in on Imai. None. Very sad, man. Very sad. Disgusting. We are pissing away another season where we have Aaron Judge just sitting there going, please, can you put a team around me? You're pissing that away. How is this acceptable? Aaron Judge is 34. He's going to be 35 next year. You're asking him to continue to play like God just to be a wild card team? Because you won't put a team around them? That's why Brian Cashman and Hal Steinbrenner, both of you guys should be ashamed of yourselves. I don't know how you sleep at night, honestly. You guys are stealing a living. Let's be honest. You guys are stealing a freaking living. Sitting on your asses. You have every resource at your disposal to make the Yankees great again, and you won't do it. Absolutely disgrace. The organization does not care about us. You're right, John the Beagle Dad. It doesn't. 80 people in the chat. Salute to 80 people. If y'all could hit the like button, share it out, sub up, do all the good stuff. It's time that we get this voice out there, and so the Yankees know that this is not acceptable. We need the Yankees to know that this is not acceptable. Fix your process. Open up that pocketbook and get on with the business of making the Yankees a legitimate threat to win a World Series. Otherwise, you are a failure. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. It's time to stop pussyfooting around this. It's time to stop pussyfooting around this shit. You got Aaron Judge, who's going to be one of the greatest players of all time, and you refuse to put a team around him because you guys are cheap. Shame on all of you. Right. Let's get into this chat. Let's say hello to everyone in the chat. Once again, over 80 people watching. Awesome. Almost 50 people watching on YouTube. If everybody, single person watching on YouTube could hit that like button, that will help us massively. So please, everyone, take that second right now to hit that like button. Everyone. Whether you agree with my points or not, everyone hit that like button. Let's get more people in the chat. So let's get into everyone in the chat. And I'm going to try and calm down a little bit. I'd like to chill out a little bit. I'm pissed. I wanted Imai. Absolutely wanted him. He was on my to-do list. And it's dwindling to nothing, this to-do list now. John the Beagle Dad. He gets the early bird award, by the way. Salute, fellas. The Yankees cannot make a deal to save their lives. Exactly. They refuse to sign anybody from outside their own organization. It's an absolute sham. I don't expect much to get done. Yankees don't want to spend another dollar. Salute to you, Jonathan. Welkin says no one should be surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm pissed, but I'm not surprised. Duran, I'm usually optimistic about the Yankees, but at this point, I'm no longer optimistic. Salute to you, Duran. Thank you so much for watching. Jacob in the chat. Donald, my brother, how are you, buddy? Hello, Jacob. Thanks so much for watching. Happy New Year to you, man. Happy New Year, and thank you for your continued support. Duran, the Yankees are officially an effing joke. Spawn to you, Duran. You're 100%. They should not spend a red cent and play prospects. I would rather fail with their prospects. This is a great point. This is exactly my point, right? So I know there'll be some people that'll be like, why is this guy screaming for the Yankees to spend more and more money? Their payroll's almost at $300 million. Blah, 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 blah. Right. I want the Yankees to choose a direction. That's what I want the Yankees to do. What do you mean by that, Donald? I'll tell you what I mean by that. I want the Yankees to choose a direction. If the Yankees want to go all in on their prospects, no problem. I'll back that. I will absolutely back that. If they want to sacrifice next year, but they want to go all in on their prospects, that means that Spencer Jones, Jason Dominguez plays every single day, Caballero plays every single day, Ben Rice plays every day. You give your prospects absolute full path to go all the way, see how you guys do, right? Then you're learning something. I'm behind that. I'm behind that. That's fine. At least you're choosing a direction. But here's the problem. When you give Max Fried a massive extension massive contract like you did last year, when you have Aaron Judge at the precipice of his career, tail end of his career here, a Hall of Fame career, one of the greatest Yankees that we've seen in the modern era, and you've got him. You've got guys like Big G, got guys like Garrett Cole, who's going to be a Hall of Famer himself. When you have those guys, you have to go all in. You have to. It makes no sense to do both. And that's what the Yankees are doing right now. They're stuck in between. They don't know what they are. Because right now, they are not good enough. Not only even to make the playoffs, they're not good enough to win a World Series. That's beyond question. Even with Cody Bellinger, they aren't good enough to win a World Series at present. Not even close. Okay? So don't lie to yourselves. They aren't. So, and yet the Yankees are basically treading water. So the Yankees are treading water, and they're not choosing a direction. All I'm asking them to do is to choose a direction. And the reason I have for that can be backed up by what we've seen from two of our best years. Okay? 2017 was our baby bombers year, right? That was some of the best work that Brian Cashman's done. 2017. He maneuvered around the market very well, and we went all in on the kids. And he had good coaching back then with Joe Girardi. And they almost went all the way. That was 2017. They chose a direction, right? Then the next year, they were like, right, we're only a piece or two away. We just need another bat. Let's go get Big G, right? He was fantastic in 2018. So that was a good little era there. That was our little window. We pissed away that window because they just kept lying to themselves. Even though they were only a move away from winning a World Series, they just kept lying to themselves because they're self-satisfied and arrogant. And probably had they gotten a better manager than Aaron Boone, they almost certainly would have won a World Series in 2018. But that's regardless. Still, 2017, 2018, that was kind of like a really good little time there for Brian Cashman. Okay, that was a time where they looked for their prospects, right? Good work, right? Now, what was the next best year for me? Well, that was the year that they decided to go all in. And that was 2 years ago, 2023. That's when they made a brilliant trade to get Juan Soto in the building. What did Juan Soto do? Juan Soto completely changed the whole frickin' framework of this organization. He was amazing. He was legitimate protection for Aaron Judge. He was incredible. He lit up Yankee Stadium. I went to a ton of games that year because I loved what I saw. He captured all our hearts. He was fantastic. What a year. And again, they were only a move away from winning the World Series. They didn't do it. Again, probably if you had a better manager than Aaron Boone, probably would have won the World Series, as was. But again, they're self-satisfied and arrogant, so they didn't do it. But still, those were their two best years. That was a year where they actually chose a direction. They went all in, or they're developing their prospects, right? That's when you have a successful team, when you choose a direction. At the moment, the Yankees are not choosing a direction. Because look at them as presently constructed, okay? Our two best prospects, and Anthony Volpe is not one of them, by the way. Our two best prospects are Dominguez and Spencer Jones. Neither of them at the moment have a place in the team because we've got Trent Grisham playing center field, Aaron Judge playing right field, and they're probably going to bring back Cody Bellinger. Probably overpay significantly for Cody Bellinger. So now there's no room for your two best prospects. You see, that's where it doesn't make any sense. But there's plenty of room for your worst prospect, and that's Anthony Volpe. Again, this is their fantastic prospects that we're talking about. They're not choosing a direction, and they're choosing it poorly. This process is a mess. Let's be honest, their process is a complete shambles. And it really needs, we really need some fresh blood in that front office. And this reminds me of something that only happened last week, and not enough people are talking about it. And I've mentioned it in the last two podcasts, right? So to those who haven't seen it, or aren't even paying attention to it, or aren't even like that worried about it, I'm telling you, you guys should have been concerned about it. Yandy Offseason going to the Mets. Yandy Offseason went to the Mets because the Yankees front office weren't doing their jobs. He agreed to go to the Yankees. He would have been the Yankees' top prospect, international prospect. Instead, he went to the Mets over bonus money. Minaya couldn't figure out what bonus money to give. And because our front office is such a mess, they didn't have an international scout director in charge. And there was a complete hole in the front office. And Brian Cashman wasn't there for the GM meetings. And thus, Wandy went to the Mets over bonus money. So this is fantastic, Brian Cashman's process, by the way. This is Brian Cashman's phenomenal process that he keeps telling you every offseason. I love our process. I'm so proud of our process. What is it that you're proud of? Because you allowed one of the best international prospects that has 110, like it hits the ball at 110, 115 miles an hour off the bat. You let him go to the Mets over bonus money because none of you guys were in charge doing your jobs. None of you guys knew who was in charge, and nobody knew how much bonus money to give or who was the international director. And now you guys still don't have an international director, and you're still figuring it out. This process is a mess. What the fuck are any of you guys doing? Get a hold of yourselves. This is the Yankees. This is not some mom and pop store. You have every resource at your disposal to get shit done. You ain't doing it. You're not in the Japanese market. Now you're not in the international prospect market. What market are you in? You're not in the winning market because you've not won since 2009. What market are you in? You're in the bullshit market. That's what you guys are in. That's what the Yankees are in. They're in the bullshit market. They bullshit every single one of our fans. Half of you guys buy it. Half the fans don't. They don't give a fuck about half the fans that don't buy it because they're just focused on the tourists and the businesses that buy all the bulk luxury seats. That's all they care about. They don't care about the diehard fans. They don't care. And that's what this new Yankee organization is. They just don't care. They're corporate and they don't care. They don't care about wins. They don't care about losses. They just don't care. As long as the luxury seats are sold and as long as the tourists worldwide say that they mark themselves on Instagram and on Facebook that they're Yankee Stadium, take a selfie, duck selfie, then Yankee fans are happy. Yeah, the Yankees are happy. They get the money. They don't need to spend a dime. And fuck the diehards. That's what the Yankees are now. It's shameless and it's soulless. Shameless and soulless. That's what I would call the Yankees now. Got Hector in the chat. Salute to you, Hector. Everyone say hello to Hector. Nobody wants to play for the Yankees no more. Nobody likes dealing with Cashman. If I'm Judge, I'm demanding a trade. If I'm Judge, I'm pissed, man. If I'm Judge, I am pissed. I agree with you. A lot of teams don't like talking with Brian Cashman. Donald, the Yankees made great moves before last season. Yeah, exactly. As I pointed out, 2023, that was the year that we went almost all in. It's a great move. All you've done is just back up my point. Right now, as it stands, the Yankees front office is a mess in 2025. That's my point. It was functioning before. It ain't functioning too well right now. My man, Luca, everyone. Say hello to my guy, Luca. Judge should request a trade. Then the Yankees auto reset. God, Steve, I agree 100% on your take on what the Yankees are today. They are not honest with the fan base. Again, the star for that, my guy. Everyone say hello to Steve. Happy New Year, Steve. Thanks so much for joining the revolution of the Yankified podcast, because we're going to take the fight to the Yankees. I am taking the shit lying down. We all deserve better as fans. We all deserve better as fans. Whether you agree with my take or not, we all deserve better. We all deserve better. We all deserve to know that your team is doing everything possible to put the best product on the field. That is my only point. Every one of us surely can agree on that. Now, not all of us agree on how we get there, but we all should agree that the team that we root for should be doing everything possible to put the best product on the field, especially considering what we give them. We give them our hard-earned money. We give them our time. We give them our sacrifices to be a fan. We give them our love. And what do they give us in return? We deserve better. We do. We deserve much better. Instead, what we got, and this is why I know things are so broken, is what we got instead, after the Yankees got embarrassed by the Blue Jays, and don't let Brian Cashman lie to you that they didn't get embarrassed. They got embarrassed. After they got embarrassed, what did they do? Brian Cashman sat in his ivory tower and said, "We're very happy with our process, very happy with our team, very proud of them, very proud of our team, very proud of our effort, very proud of our manager, blah, blah, blah." And then he said, "I will leave it to the masses to decide." He doesn't give a fuck. He literally said, "I will leave it to the masses to decide." That is, in Brian Cashman speak, a middle finger to all of us. What he's saying is, I'm going to leave it to the little people to argue amongst yourselves because you guys are completely irrelevant to me. I don't care. That's what he told you. Your opinion on social media, your opinion on YouTube, I don't care. I don't care about you guys. I don't care. Do not care. You guys can shout and scream all you want. I don't care. Brian Cashman's telling you that. That's what it meant by I'll leave it to the masses to decide. He's decided himself that it was a great year, even though it wasn't. He's decided himself it was a great year. So the fans, I'll leave it to the masses to decide. That's what he said. When he said that, I knew exactly what was going to happen this offseason. Once he said that, I downed tools. I knew it. That meant he wasn't going to do anything. And he doesn't care. Right? And then after that, and then also, by the way, all he said was we're going to focus on Cody Bellinger. Then I knew that we're really not. Then we really knew that we were not going all in this offseason. Now we go forward, and then Hal Steinbrenner. What did Hal do? Hal said, yeah, you don't know what my expenses are. Once again, Hal Steinbrenner sitting in his ivory tower going, I'm poor. Feel sorry for me. You know how hard it is to be an owner of the New York Yankees? It's very hard. I would love to have a lower payroll. That's what Hal Steinbrenner said. But at the same time, please buy our season ticket packages. That's why I feel that this is a real sham. We are being sold a mediocre product at top value, and they're laughing at us. We deserve better. We deserve better than this. We deserve more respect than this. There's very few franchises that have been so public in the lies. You know, like you look at you even look at the train right away to Queens. You kind of know that Steve Cohen wants to put the best product on the field. He's a fan. You know that. The Knicks, they will do whatever it takes to put a championship flag up at Madison Square Garden. They were not satisfied with a conference finals last year. They fired their coach and gotten better this year. That is not a team that's satisfied, right? Now you look at the Yankees. What do the Yankees do? They get completely embarrassed in the division series. They lose the division. They're doing absolutely nothing in the market, and they're sitting there going, we're great. We're fantastic. Does that sound like a franchise that wants the best for its fans? No, let's be honest. Does that sound like a franchise that wants the best for its fans? The answer is no. Exactly. Nicholas, shout out to you. Great to see all these new people in the chat. Want to wish everyone that's new commenting a happy new year. Nick, $100 million expense to City, New York. That's exactly what Hal Steinbrenner said. That's exactly what Hal Steinbrenner said. He's like, oh, what about me? Feel sorry for me. Help me, I'm poor. I owe $100 million to the city of New York. Feel sorry for me. And we as fans are supposed to feel sorry for him. Some of us, I'm sure in the chat, have multiple jobs, doing your best to feed your families, and all you ask for is your baseball team that you love to try and put the best product on the field. Instead, what did they say to you? They said, help me, I'm poor. That's what they said. These dudes. The dude in the middle, help me, I'm poor. I make $800 million a year, but I owe $100 million to the city of New York. Feel sorry for me. Meanwhile, I want a lower payroll. That's Hal Steinbrenner. He is absent. He is not overseeing this front office. Dude on the left. There he is. That smug prick. There he is. I'll leave it to the masses to decide. I'm perfectly happy with our team as it is. We don't need to do anything. That's what he said. He's following it up on that. I'll give him that. Then you got Aaron Boone to the far right. The guy that is the only manager in the history of the Yankees to get multiple extensions without winning a championship. And those two dudes beside him are convincing us as fans that he's the best manager in baseball. What did Brian Cashman say? That smug prick? He said there'd be a feeding frenzy for Aaron Boone. He's the best. And we all bought it. He gets another extension. Where's he right now? He doesn't care. He said so himself. Are you worried about getting fired? No. I've got 2 years in my contract. I'm good. That's what he said. Have you called Cody Bellinger? No. I'll leave it to Brian Cashman. I'll figure it out once I get there. That's your manager, right? The one that lives and breathes Yankees. Our expectations for you were low, but holy fuck is all I've got to say on that. We got Armand in the chat. He's our friendly Met fan. Salute to you, man. Thanks again for watching. Thank you for your support. Big friend of the channel. Per Mark Franzen, 28-year-old Kona Takahashi could return to Japan. He has at least one offer from an MLB team. This Sunday at 5 p.m. is his deadline. Salute to you. We'll see what happens there. I agree with Duran here. Cashman and Hal seem like Squidward from SpongeBob. SpongeBob fans, I'm sure, would agree. Tony H, salute to you. He's just happy to make the playoffs every year. Exactly. That's what the thing is, right? Their spreadsheet says, right now, if all goes as projected, the Yankees can win 88 games. That should be enough for a wild card. Everybody wins. Then we'll just say it's a crapshoot when they lose, and no harm, no foul. Rinse and repeat, do it all over again. Jets mess. Now the Jets are in a mess, but soon, bro, it's going to be Yankee mess. Hello all. Hello, Jets mess. Happy New Year to you, man. Thank you so much. But Stuff and Things, one of my favorite names on YouTube. They really don't need a ton of starting pitching. They need help in other roster areas, offensive depth and whatnot. They weren't getting Imai, never were. Disagree there. They should have been in on Imai. And the reasons why they weren't in on Imai is not for good reasons. It's not to make this team better reasons. It's just because they're cheap and they don't have a process. That's the real reason. But they do need offensive depth. Now, there are some rumors. I'm going to try not to laugh at this, right? There is rumors that we've checked in on Bichette, right? It kind of feels to me like that's narrative control. That's once again controlling the narrative, right? Because they know that Yankee fans will be pissed. So let's get some rumors out there that the Yankees have checked in on Bichette. Let's be honest, the Yankees have checked in on everybody. The Yankees are the champions of going and checking in. Right? I have never seen them ever do more than check in on free agents. But Per John Heyman, the Yankees have checked in on free agent infielder Bo Bichette. Listen, I want Bo Bichette. I absolutely want Bo Bichette. Like, there's no doubt about it. I want frickin' Bo Bichette. I just don't buy that the Yankees will get Bo Bichette, but I want the Yankees to be in on him. There he is right there. This could all change, and we could have a happy new year if we sign Bo Bichette. Are they going to do it? I don't know. Probably not. I think what Bichette would do is he'd move to second and we'd probably trade Jazz Chisholm. And then you could have Caballero play short. And you kind of got a kick-ass infield. So the thing is, I've spent 52 minutes screaming at how cheap and disgraceful the Yankees are behaving right now. But they can still have a good offseason. That's the thing. That's what's so crazy about this. They can have a really good offseason right now. They still can. It starts with Bo Bichette. It should have included Imai. The fact they passed on that is disgraceful, and shame on all of them for that. But even if Imai only turns out to be a third or fourth starter in the majors, it's still a shame. Shameful that they passed on it because he's exactly what you need. So I'm not backing down on that. But if they were actually a serious franchise, they'd sign Bo Bichette right now. Don't let him go to the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays have got enough, for God's sake. They've got an unbelievable team. Be the Yankees. Bring in Bo Bichette. He's the best righty bat out there. Stop this lie from Brian Cashman about, platoons are the answer. Platoons are not the answer. Just have the best of the best playing each position. Dave Rice, they're not getting Bichette. Why do we keep doing this to ourselves? Dude, you're spot on. But I'm leaving it open. I'm leaving that door open a crack, right? I'm leaving it open a crack. Even though every single position player post-Mark Teixeira that has been on the market that has not worn Yankee pinstripes before, the Yankees have checked in on and done absolutely nothing about. They've checked in and then walked away. It's basically like calling the agent going, hey, how are you? I'm just checking in. All right. See you later. Bye. That's all Brian Cashman does. That's checking in. That's his checking in. But I'm leaving it open a smidge for the Yankees to get a hold of their balls and be the Yankees again. So I'm leaving that door a crack. 99.9% they're not signing Bo Bichette. I know this because this is what the Yankees are. They're cheap and stupid and disgraceful and an embarrassment. But there's still that smither of a chance. And if they followed up on that and they signed Bo Bichette, then this whole offseason could change on a dime. It could all change on a dime. Then we could be excited about something because we badly need a righty bat. We badly need someone that can hit in postseason. Bichette bats like 320 in the postseason. We badly need a good infielder, and he's that. So, like, everything could be addressed offensively by signing Bo Bichette. If you sign Cody Bellinger too, well, fine. At the moment, my priority should be Bo Bichette. Is Bo Bichette. So, hey, I'm leaving that door open a smidge, but let's be honest. I think it's just narrative control. I think that's John Heyman being contacted by Brian Cashman saying, could you go out on Twitter and say that we're interested in Bo Bichette just to keep the fans happy on onside because we have some season tickets to sell? That's probably the most likely scenario. But I'm leaving that door open a smidge. You're twisting yourself into a pretzel doll. I'm not. Not in the least, bro. In what way do you think I'm twisting myself into a pretzel? I'm being very, very clear. I'm holding the Yankees absolutely to account. But I'm just answering that tweet from John Heyman, where he says the Yankees have checked in on Bichette. Do I believe it? No. I'd say 99% this is just narrative control to make it look like the Yankees are interested. Right? But I'm leaving the door open a smidge for them to surprise me because I'm not Nostradamus. I don't know where Bichette's going to go. Almost certain he's probably going to go elsewhere, but I'm leaving it open a smidge for the Yankees to surprise me because I want to be surprised. I am a fan, just like you, just like everyone watching. I'm a fan. I want to be surprised. I want to be happy. I want to be excited. So I'm giving them that 1% chance, probably less than 1%, giving them a 0.5% chance to surprise me. Pistol Pete, yeah. Now only legends, rich kids can watch batting practice. Exactly. That's what's sad, man. It's all changed so much. I remember as a kid in the old stadium, my grandpa said, "Let's get in early so we could get to batting practice." And you could run down near the front row, get autographs, get close to your favorite player. And boy, we had a great team back then. Great players to get close to. Now we've got Anthony Volpe, who I wouldn't want to be within 100 yards of, or 100 miles of, or in fact 3,000 miles of. But that's the new reality we have as Yankee fans right now. But yes, of course, the Yankees are only catering to the legends, rich kids, of course. That's what's happening right now. Big businesses snap up all the luxury seats and they sell it out for corporate events. That's what it's used for now. And the diehard fans like me and you and everyone else, fuck you guys. Fuck you guys. Exactly. Yep, I got close and autographed from lots of players as a kid, and I was in the nosebleeds. Amen to you, man. That's it. I was in the nosebleeds for the perfect game. It was David Cohn's perfect game in '99. I was the happiest kid in the world. It's just sad to see what's happened now. And that's why I'm using this platform to fight against the narrative that we should be happy as fans with a mediocre product. In an expanded playoffs, it's not a big deal to make the playoffs. I'm sorry, it isn't. Basically, if you win like 55% of your games, you're probably going to make the playoffs. Over 162 games, that's not a big deal. Especially when 40% of the American League doesn't try and compete. So the Yankees trying to lie to you, saying that that them making the playoffs every single year because they finish above 500, and that it's a fantastic achievement. It's not. It's kind of mediocre. ALCS, okay, now you're talking. But they got swept against the Astros in the ALCS a few years ago. What about that? The last time they got through the ALCS, they got steamrolled by the Dodgers. Didn't even make it that last year. Steamrolled by the Blue Jays and the DS. And the Yankees are like, no, we're great. Perfectly happy with that. Exactly. This is a great point as well from my man. One of my new favorite fans here. The Yankees are one of the few teams that are on their TV network. Hal Steinbrenner has no excuse. He has his own TV network. He's making money hand over fist. Don't buy the narrative. Hal only cares about money. He's crying all over twist because of the bond for the new stadium. Yep. How many times does Hal Steinbrenner talk about bondsmen? Every single year he talks about bondsmen. Every year. It's embarrassing. I don't want to hear about what you owe to the city of New York. I don't want to hear about your bondsmen. Have some self-respect. Have some respect for the people that watch you. Have some respect for your father. Have some respect for your father. Because your father cared about us as fans. You don't give a flying fuck, but your dad did. But it wasn't just about the fans. Your dad cared about the business. He knew the business would be very good if you made the Yankees the hottest team in town. He knew that the money would come right back in. The money that you shell out is coming back in tenfold if you bring in the best players and make the Yankees the hottest team on Broadway. Make them the talk of baseball. He knew that. He also knew that the farther that they went, any World Series achievement, any World Series appearance, that money's coming roaring back in. The franchise value goes up. That's a good businessman. Hal Steinbrenner's like, if we get beat in the wild card, I'm happy with that. And we don't need to sign anybody. That's your owner. That's your new owner. And we're supposed to accept that and go, yay! And now the Yankees have slowly drip-fed lowering of standards. And I've seen it in the comments. I've seen it in the replies. I've seen that there are people that bite back at me for fighting against this narrative because they're happy with this. Some fans are happy to just be drip-fed the Yankee propaganda. The Yankee propaganda that, what about our bondsmen? What about the $100 million to the city of New York? It is gluttonous to have a $300 million payroll. It isn't sustainable to have a $300 million payroll. You know what? I'm just going to be content with Cody Bellinger. There's some fans that are still out there, and it's not enough. It wasn't enough last year, and it won't be enough this year. You have to start asking more from an organization that has limitless amounts of money to spend on being a good team. Start asking more from your franchise. Let's see what else we got in the chat. Got Dev Finch in the chat. Salute to you. Dave Rice is right here, though. The Yankees have no interest in Okamoto. You're right. Yeah, I don't believe that's truth. That's probably just spam, Christopher. So that's where we're at, man. It was a horrible news to wake up to today as Yankee fans that Imai wasn't even considered. And once again, Jack Curry was spot on. Listen to Jack Curry. He knows. He knows. Jack Curry knows. He knew that the Yankees weren't interested. He said it from the start. We hoped, we prayed, wasn't the case. So before we sign off, let's talk about how we pivot. I mean, the dream scenario would be Bichette, and the dream scenario would be to sign Kyle Tucker, but we know the Yankees aren't going to do that. What could happen? I'm fully expecting Cody Bellinger to sign, right? I don't think that market is nearly as strong as he thinks it is, and I think he's going to come back to the Yankees. That's still not enough for this offense to compete with the rest of the American League, let alone the World Series, but it's a start. What they could do is they sign Bo Bichette, move him to second base, then they trade Jazz Chisholm for bullpen arm, a prospect, and maybe a starting pitcher. That could be a smart way of doing business because it doesn't look like they're going to bring back Jazz Chisholm after next year. They're far apart in valuation. And so that's one way of doing it. And it makes a whole ton of sense. But then you're also losing Jazz Chisholm's bat. So it's like, it's a weird one, you know what I mean? Because it doesn't really address our issues, which is shortstop and power at third base. You know, we do have plus power at second base already. So you're just kind of replacing a likeness for a likeness. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not sure. That's what they could do. Now, Bichette is a shortstop, but you know what? The Yankees are all in on Anthony Volpe. But another way in which you could do it is they have, let's say, theoretically, they sign Bo Bichette, make him the shortstop, okay? Forget about Anthony Volpe, because that would be a dream scenario, right? This could work. Then you still got Jazz Chisholm a second, still got that power. And then next year, Jazz walks off in free agency, and then you could move Bo Bichette to second, and then you've got Caballero that can step in at short, or you've got George Lombard that can step in at short. Makes sense. That could work. I actually don't hate that. So if I were the Yankees, I would be focusing their dollars on Bo Bichette. And wow, Dave Rice is saying the Dodgers are trying to move Teoscar Hernandez. Sign me up. I would love Teoscar Hernandez. I would prefer him to Cody Bellinger. Much prefer him to Cody Bellinger. Much prefer him to Cody Bellinger. Yeah, Duran. Lombard has to stay in AAA for at least another half season. I'd say give him a full season. But, you know, he's kind of has him waiting in the wings. So you could have Bo Bichette manning shortstop for 1 year. Then you move him to second, and then Lombard plays short. That could work. The other way you could do it is have Caballero, who I'm a big fan of. He plays shortstop every day next year. You trade Jazz Chisholm for prospects and a reliever and a starter, and you sign Bo Bichette to replace him at second. At least you've now got a righty bat for the infield. That could work. That could work. So that's another way in which the Yankees could approach that. They do need another starter. I don't know where they're going to go because they're considering $18 million for someone who would have been an elite arm was too rich for them. God knows where they're going to go now. But Bill Madden, the veteran New York Daily News reporter, said in his tweet, second line starting pitching is a very low priority for the Yankees and certainly not for that kind of dollars. What kind of dollars? It's very cheap. Stay patient, Yankee fans. They're going to spend their money on their top priority, a bat. But that's a lie, because Brian Cashman said his top priority was starting pitching. Right? The Yankees can't keep up with their own lines. They can't keep up with their own nonsense. Brian Cashman said, as if we've all got like goldfish memories, that starting pitching was his priority. Now we've got reports coming up from very esteemed writers saying the Yankees' priority is now a bat. Do you guys see what I'm talking about here? The Yankees don't believe that they can't keep up with their own nonsense. They think that we're all stupid. They think that we all have memories of a goldfish. At the start of the offseason, Brian Cashman said that our offense was great and it just needs some starting pitching and we'd be great. Now, fast forward a month. Now the new narrative is, oh, we need a bat. Pitching is not a priority. Which one is it? You guys can't keep up with their own nonsense. I just want a franchise that sticks to their bullshit. How about that? Stick to a plan. Have a plan. I don't think the Yankees have a plan. In fact, I'm almost certain of that. I don't think the Yankees have a freaking plan. They do not have a plan. And it's quite obvious that they don't have a plan. They can't keep up with their own nonsense. So as I said at the start of the show an hour ago, I said Cashman was talking about breaking into the Japanese market. He was talking about needing starting pitching. Well, he's failed on both counts. And now you got esteemed writers saying, yeah, but the Yankees weren't in on pitching anyway. Which one is it? The narrative was during December, well, the Yankees don't need to be in Pete Alonso. They don't need to be after Kyle Tucker. They don't need to be going after Bichette because they had the best offense in the majors last year. Their priority is bringing back Cody Bellinger and some starting pitching. That's what we heard. That was a narrative. Fast forward a month, now it's different. You see, that's why I want you guys to take anything from me. You don't have to agree with everything I'm saying. I'm not asking you to. I like different opinions. I have no issue with that. Fan as you want to fan. But I do want whoever watches and everyone that watches to read between the lines. That's what I want you guys to pick up from. Read between the lines from these beat reporters and from Brian Cashman and Hal Steinbrenner. Read between the lines. Don't take them at face value. Because you got to see that they do not have a consistent narrative. The only consistent narrative that they have is that they're pleading poverty and expecting you to line their pockets. That is their only consistent narrative. The rest, you kind of have to read between the lines. Because they change their narrative on a constant basis. How about this for a perfect example? This whole Anthony Volpe stuff. Right? The whole Anthony Volpe stuff. The narrative was, at first, Brian Cashman yelling at Joel Sherman saying, yeah, come back to me when Anthony Volpe bats .315 and carries us, and he's fantastic. Then tell me about my fantastic process, right? There was that, right? And then you fast forward. Okay? Does the shoulder. Barely bats 200. Has one of the worst seasons in the history of the Yankees at shortstop, right? Watch how the narrative changed. You got Aaron Boone saying, I don't think it was the injury. Brian Cashman said it was all the injury. Aaron Boone didn't know about my medical records that said that it was all about the injury. Narrative changed. So who's right and who's wrong? Nobody knows. But that's the way that the Yankees like it. As long as there's a question out there, then some fans are going to buy it going, yeah, well, maybe it was the injury. But then if you take it further, Brian Cashman's basically saying that Aaron Boone doesn't know what he's talking about. That's their manager, who that we're all supposed to buy is the best manager in baseball. Oh, but Donald, he didn't know about the surgery was more serious than previously thought of. My answer to that is, why not? Why doesn't he know? Why didn't Brian Cashman let him in on that? But the narrative was always, Anthony Volpe is fucking elite, and if you don't think he's fucking elite, you're not a fan. That was the Yankees narrative to you, dear viewer. That was their narrative to you, dear viewer. And it turned out that not only was he not elite, he was one of the worst shortstops in the league and one of the worst everyday players in the league. So then they needed a new narrative. So the new narrative is, oh, it was all about the shoulder. He had a worse OPS in 2024 than he did last year. And he was healthy 2024. So which one is it? That's what I'm talking about. You guys need to read between the lines here because the Yankees are all over the place with their narratives. They can't keep up with their excuses. They have so many excuses that they can't keep up with their excuses. And so all I want is for everyone watching, to pay attention to that. Don't buy everything that you're being sold, because you guys are being sold a bill of goods. And you guys do deserve better. You guys deserve better. Boone is a joke manager. He absolutely is. Hal needs to clean house. He won't, because he's not interested. I agree. I'm a Giants fan. Even with Bellinger, we were worse than last year. At this point, I have more confidence going forward. There you go. See my Giants, my Giants logo back there. The Giants are a disgrace, but I assume the Giants are going to try and get better next year. The new coach. The Yankees aren't interested in getting better. They just want all new excuses and new bullshit. Even if the Yankees do nothing, right? Say the Yankees do absolutely nothing, and they bring back Cody Bellinger on a 5-year deal worth $29 million AAV, and everyone's excited, right? Because then the Yankees will spend money, right? Then the Yankees will sell that narrative going, that's the commitment that Hal Steinbrenner has for a winning organization, right? They do nothing else, right? That's the commitment. That's how much Hal Steinbrenner loves his fans. Blah-de, blah-de, blah. Let's be honest. They aren't a better team. Because in order to roll it back, for them to be a better team rolling it back next year, this is what you need to happen. Ben Rice needs to have a better year than he did last year. Jazz Chisholm needs to have a better year than he did last year, and he was already great last year. Anthony Volpe needs to suddenly come back from injury and become an actual major leaguer and a great shortstop and can actually hit. We've not seen that his entire career. Austin Wells needs to hit league average. We haven't seen that yet in his career. McMahon needs to have a much better year than last year. He needs to hit league average. He's not done that in a couple of years. He needs to not strike out 200 times a year. Good luck with that. That's who he is. Right? Then you need Trent Grisham to not only have as good a year as he had last year, you probably need to have the same, if not better, year next year. When his entire career, he struggled to bat 200 until last year. Then you need Aaron Judge, who's 34, going on 35, to have exactly the same year as last year. And it was one of the greatest years of all time he had last year. You need them to do the same thing. Then you need Big G to roll back the years and be the Big G that we all know and love. And stay healthy. Because there's no depth on the bench. None. He's not been healthy in years. He's still my favorite guy. I love him. Absolutely adore him. But he's not been healthy in years. So you're asking him to roll back the clock and stay healthy because we don't have a bench. And we don't have any power. Righty power behind Aaron Judge. None. So he needs to do that. Right? You're asking all those things to happen. Then you're asking Garrett Cole to come back from Tommy John and pitch lights out. You need Rodon come back from surgery to pitch lights out. You need Clark Schmidt to come back from surgery to pitch light out. You know where I'm going with this? The chances of all that happening are so remote. All of that has to happen for the Yankees to be a better team than they were last year. And then I'm not even getting to Cody Bellinger, who, let's be honest, 4 of his last 6 years of his career, he has not been very good. He's had 2 great years out of 6. But over the last 6 years, he's been a very inconsistent player. So inconsistent that the Dodgers were happy to let him go. So inconsistent that the Cubs were happy to send him to the Yankees for nothing but a salary dump. That is not a star player. Stars don't go for salary dumps. That doesn't happen. Because there was a commenter in my last show that said, how could you say that Cody Bellinger is a complimentary piece? You don't know baseball. He is so much more than that. Well, okay, just look at his past 6 years. His last 2 stops have willingly let him go. That's not a star. That's not a superstar. He's a good player. I like Cody Bellinger. And in fact, if you look back, I was the one that said we should trade for Cody Bellinger. I was delighted with the trade. He's someone that you can get something out of. He's a very good player, but he's not a star, and he's not an all-star. And the Yankees need some all-stars. That's what we need. So if Cody Bellinger doesn't hit 30 home runs next year and doesn't bat 270 and doesn't have an 800-plus OPS, anything less than that, the Yankees are not going to be better next year. There is no excuse to say that the Yankees are a better team. As it stands, they're not. They're a worse team. Do you know who's a better team? Blue Jays. You know who's a better team? The Orioles. You know who's a better team? The Red Sox. You know who's a better team? The Astros. The Yankees are just trying to sell a narrative to you guys, and it's not based on reality. Cruz in the chat. We don't want any more excuses. Take action and boycott them so they'll respect the fans. Salute to you, man. I agree. I'm going to do my part. I'm not going to buy any merch. I don't have any games lined up until they actually take their job seriously. I'm not doing it. But every fan is welcome to fan as they want a fan. I mean, I can't tell fans not to, root for the team they love. But the thing is, and this is something that it's almost like it's almost like you're beating your head against a brick wall because in reality, the Yankees stadium is a tourist trap. It's like the place to go. When you get off at JFK, you see Yankee Stadium is one of the places to go to. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like the tourist place for tourists to go. Tourists are always going to fill out Yankee Stadium. Then it's a cool hangout. And then, as I said, you've got big businesses that are selling luxury seat packages. So at the end of the day, there's always going to be fans that are going to be filling that stadium. And Hal Steinbrenner doesn't care, how much you root for that team or not. He doesn't care. So he'll be like, well, I'm more than happy if to sacrifice the diehard fans. If they're not there, I don't care, because in their place will be X number of casuals that'll fill it out, take pictures, and it doesn't make any difference to me because it still lines my pockets. I mean, if you look at it really, last year the atmosphere at Yankee Stadium was down. The interest in the Yankees was down from the year before, but it was only incremental. The Yankees can still push their narrative. So I can't tell fans not to fan. I can't tell fans not to go to games. I can't do any of that. But I can ask for you guys to read between the lines and check out these narratives, because they don't they're just not based on reality. They're going to try and sell to you that Cody Bellinger is the piece that's going to put the Yanks over the top. We already had him last year, and he didn't put us over the top. He had his best year that he's had. It's like his second. I think it's probably his best year that he's had in 6 years, and it still wasn't enough. So you're still asking him to be better than that. This Yankee team needs a whole hell of a lot more than just Cody Bellinger. That's my point. We got Astros fan in the chat. We'll see what the Astros fans got to say. As an Astros fan, I agree with your entire rant. The Yankees have to be good for baseball to be good. They're the most iconic team in the world. You were right. Only 55% of the games isn't good. My guy here. Respect to you, and thanks so much. And respect to the Astros for getting Imai. I wanted Imai. Imai is a fantastic pitcher. I've been watching him in Japan. I think his stuff is incredible, and you guys have got a good one. So thanks for coming in peace, and thanks for a very knowledgeable reply. And that's it. That's exactly my point. The Yankees are the most iconic team in the world. You go any place in the world, and in every single hat stand, there's Yankee hats everywhere. And instead, our owner is going, yeah, but what about what I owe to the city of New York, and what about my bondsman that I have to pay, and what about these small market franchises? What about the Pittsburgh Pirates? Shouldn't we be asking them to do more? They've already done more. They've had a better own season than you, Hal. They spent more than you have. And they're probably going to bring Okamoto in, too. And they're interested in Pete Alonso, which you weren't interested in. So, yeah, what about those small market teams, Hal? You see, read between the lines. Never buy their bullshit, because they always have new excuses lined up. There's always new excuses. What did Hal Steinbrenner say about the Dodgers? Oh, well, and maybe it'll work for them if they stay healthy. They weren't healthy last year. They weren't healthy the year before that. And guess what? They still won a championship. Why? Because they absolutely have the best roster. Kind of helps. Don't believe the bullshit. Don't believe their bullshit. They always have new excuses lined up. And I'm sick of the excuses. Every single year since the Three Stooges have been in charge, these Three Stooges, every year it's the same stuff. Aaron Boone, the league's catching up to us. The league's lapped you, you arrogant bastard. Hal Steinbrenner, what about what I owe to the city of New York? No one gives a fuck. Yeah, you fucking cheap fuck. Brian Cashman, I'll leave it to the masses to decide we had a great year. I don't care what he has to say. You're a small prick, right? There you go. That's the Three Stooges for you. There is a jet stream of bullshit coming out of the Yankees' mouth. Amen, Larry. Say it again. Say it louder for the people in the nosebleeds. We got IL1, first-time listener, loving the fire. Yeah. Just as we've hit 100 viewers on YouTube. Thank you so much. Please, everybody, hit the like button, hit the sub button. Share it out to your friends and family, and the strangers in the corner. I'm pissed. Not that I'm surprised, because I knew this was going to happen. Jack Curry already told us. We knew that the Yankees weren't in on Imai. And so all these little reports coming from Japan, all the little Yankee fans that have come out with fake tweets saying that the Yankees are on the 1 yard line for Imai, it was all a lie. It was all a lie. The Yankees were never in on him. Never in on him. For whatever goddamn reason, they were never in on him. So I'm just calling them out in their bullshit right now. I'm taking this platform on New Year's Day to light a fire under their asses. But let's face it, they're not going to watch this. But you guys are. And I want to light a fire under this fan base's ass. That's what I want. I want everyone coming from this show to go, you know what? Even though maybe he's going a little bit too hard on this, he kind of does have a point. We probably do deserve more as Yankee fans. We do deserve more as Yankee fans. And this is very striking from Armand. Per ball, remember when Tatsuya and Murakami were projected to earn in excess of $300 million in free agency? Well, the duo combined for just $88 million. The market has not been there. The Yankees should have been in on one, if not both of them. The market has not been as expected. Brian Cashman has misread this market. He thought $22.5 million is good value for Trent Grisham. Well, it's proven to be bad value. Dev Finch, hit the like button for our guy. Thank you. Thank you, Dev. Thanks for your support. Happy New Year to you. Don't believe the narratives, guys. Demand more from your franchise. You have every right to. And to the Astro fan that's watching and the Met fan that's watching, you guys deserve to same thing. Demand the most from your team that you root for. You're not being a bad fan for that. You're being a good fan for that. And my expectations for the Yankees are as an elite franchise. So I'm holding them to that standard. So that's why when some fans come and say, oh, but Donald, why are you so mad at a team that goes to the playoffs every single year? Blah, 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 blah. I'll say that again. The Yankees are an elite franchise. They sell themselves as an elite franchise. They sell themselves as the best of the best. They do not have a budget. They make $800 million a year. So they self-impose a budget. They self-impose a cap. And are willingly not making themselves better as a franchise, and instead spend each offseason telling the fans that you guys are greedy and that they are already a great team as it is, and it's gluttonous to expect more. That's what they do. They drip feed lowering standards. I don't want that for the Yankees. You know what I'm saying? Now, no, I don't go as insane over the Giants. Why? Because the Giants have been a bad franchise since 2011. They have fallen flat since Eli retired. They don't know what the hell they're doing, right? That's the Giants. They ain't the Yankees, right? I'm proud of the Knicks because the Knicks, they ain't stopping. They're trying to get better each year. That's a real team that's trying to get better, trying to win at all costs. You ain't doing the job, I'll trade you. That's what the Knicks are. The Yankees could probably take a lot of influence from what the Knicks are doing. They're not content. They're not lying to their fan base going, oh, we're great. No. They're the hottest team in New York now. They are the place to be. Madison Square Garden. Yankee Stadium, ain't the place to be in the summer anymore. So it's time for the Yankees to remember who they are. And I'm going to frickin' remind them. And I'm doing it for my family members that have passed the Yankees on to me. My grandfather passed the Yankees on to me, and I'm holding them to those goddamn standards. By God, if I'm going to scream myself hoarse doing so, I'm going to do so. Because I'm sure every one of you guys have had the Yankees passed on to you from your family members. So I'm holding them to the standards that they have always set. Excellence. So I'm demanding excellence from them. They're not giving me excellence, so I'm going to, by God, remind them. Armand is right. I believe the pending lockout has hindered the free agent market. It definitely has. I mean, there's a lot of teams that are doing that, and I believe that Hal Steinbrenner is one of them. But my point is, why? My point is why. It shouldn't affect the Yankees. The Yankees are the most profitable franchise in sports, along with the Dallas Cowboys and the LA Lakers. They're the most profitable franchise in sports. If there's going to be a team that's going to survive a lockout and going to survive post-lockout, it'll be the Yankees. They'll be fine. It should not stop them, especially when their window for Aaron Judge is as small as the window for the lockout. There's no excuse here. And this lockout is just another excuse. It shouldn't affect the Yankees. The Yankees shouldn't want a salary cap. They do want that. Why? Because Hal is not interested in winning. So there's not really an excuse here. You're spot on, Armand, about baseball in general. And the Yankees are buying that, but they shouldn't. Because the Dodgers don't buy it. Why don't the Dodgers buy it? Because what did the Dodgers manager say? The Dodgers manager says, regardless of the salary cap, we're going to dominate. That's someone with big balls. That's someone that demands winning. The Dodgers are not too worried about a lockout. They ain't too worried about post-lockout baseball. They've got a phenomenal team, and they're going to try and continue to build on it. They just got the best closer in baseball. The Blue Jays, do they look too bothered about it? No, they checked on a Bichette. They're trying to get Kyle Tucker, and they've already got Dylan Cease. They ain't too worried about it. There's no excuse for the Yankees not to be worried about it, not to be in on every free agent that makes them better. And exactly, I don't even believe that there will be a cap because it doesn't benefit the players. It only benefits the small market teams. It doesn't actually benefit the Yankees as a big market team, but the Yankees are pretending they're not a big market team. Exactly, Armand. This is the point here. Armand is killing it tonight, so salute to you and Happy New Year. Donald Hal, John Henry, and Tom Ricketts are aligning with the small market, aka cheap owners on a small cap. Exactly. That's what they are. That's what Hal Steinbrenner is. He is a cheap owner. And he's showing his true colors right now. He's showing his true colors right now. He's doing the bare minimum as an owner. You can argue the word cheap because, yeah, we have a $300 million payroll every year. But in reality, he's doing the bare minimum. The bare minimum is roll it back and maybe add someone here or there. That's it. That's the bare minimum. Considering what we make each year in terms of revenue, you make about $800 million of profit. You have a $300 million payroll. That's below 50%. So less than 50% of your profits are going to your baseball team. That's the maths. How's adding extra freaking maths by saying, oh, but about my bondsman? Well, fuck about your bondsman, bro. What about us lining your pockets? How about that? Think about us. I think being the MLBPA gave MLB the ability to distribute the pitching data throughout all teams. I think that was there to stop the cap talk. It was an interesting point. I think that there'll be a salary floor. I do believe that. They're going to be doing something. I don't know exactly what. I think there'll be a salary floor. I don't think there are going to be a salary cap. I think what you might see is there might be even more punishments for teams that exceed the Cohen tax threshold. I think you might see more like luxury tax penalties that way. Maybe there'll be penalties similar to in the NBA. when you get past a certain tax threshold, the penalties are more severe. So I think maybe MLB might do something similar to that, but there won't be a salary cap, I don't believe. But I think there'll be a salary floor. I could see that. And that's why that's what I want. Anyway, I want penalties for teams that aren't spending, which would be the Yankees. Which should actually be the Yankees. No, but I want penalties for teams that aren't actually spending. That means that there's more competition. There's no downside to that. There also should be some things that baseball needs to do to change this offseason, because this offseason is a joke. What they really need to do is they need to make free agency similar to the NFL and NBA free agency, where it's a thing over a 3, 4, 5-day period. Make it what the GM meetings are. The GM meetings should be the where the big free agents get moved over a 5-day period. Makes it exciting, adds interest. ESPN will start covering it. The Yes Network hot stove will be running 24/7. It would be very much beneficial to MLB in general, raise interest, that free agency would be this big thing. Free agency period, just like NBA, NFL. I think that's something that they really need to do. They need to change this free agency, because this situation where you guys have got the best free agent in the market, Kyle Tucker, who we don't even know where he's going to be yet, and you're in January 1st, and pitchers and catchers is about 5 weeks away. I think it's a joke. And we've had it in the past where Manny Machado, freaking Pete Alonso, and previous free agents have signed closer to spring training. That's a joke. Like, they need to do something to make free agency more interesting. So, there are some things that I really hope that this CBA and this lockout fixes. And I'm going off topic here, but I certainly hope that these things are addressed, because this offseason is broken. It's crazy that Imai and Murakami and Okamoto, coming from Japan, who are all hugely rated, have got very low markets right now. Imai signed for well below market. So did Murakami. And Okamoto's probably going to sign for below market as well. It's a real shame. And I think that says a lot about how the business of baseball needs to change moving forward. So, listen, if it's going to take a lockout to do it, then I'm all for it, because they need to change serious things here. But that's off topic. But I certainly hope those things get addressed. Got Cruz in chat. One thing the father of the Yankees owner had was thinking about the fans. Facts. The son only thinks about money and treats the fans like idiots with his empty promises. You, my friend, will be a big friend of the channel. So, Cruz, please continue to watch our content. Really do appreciate your insight, and I completely 1,000%, 1,000,000% agree. That is it in a nutshell. That is it in a nutshell. And that's kind of why I have this platform. I want to remind us as fans what our standards are and what we had as an owner before that. Before Hal, George cared about the fans. He cared about winning. He cared about winning and losing. He cared. If you weren't doing your job, then he'll find someone that's doing the better job. But he'll find someone else that'll do a job better. Think Aaron Boone would be this comfortable? Think Brian Cashman would get away with saying some of the things that he said? I'll leave it to the masses to decide. I'm perfectly content. Do you think he'd allow that? Do you think he'd be happy that his son is pissing over everything that George built? Hal isn't the reason why the Yankees are the most profitable, most valuable franchise in the sport. George is. George is. Why? Because they had multiple dynasties under his tenure. That's the truth. Because he had standards. He had standards. Hal has no standards. Hal does not care to the same extent, or even remotely the same extent. He doesn't care. He doesn't go to the games. I don't even think he watches, to be fair, because some of the stuff he's been saying is just complete crap. And he does treat this fan base like idiots. Cap, bro. But yeah, back to you, Cruz. I completely agree with you, and it's sad. It's really sad that Hal doesn't have the same respect for the fans that his dad did. The Yankees ain't the same anymore. You're exactly right. But even though they're not the same anymore, you can still demand, if you're a Yankee fan, you can still demand better from them. I'm not asking them to have a dynasty again. How about just one championship? That would be nice. There's not been one since 2009. There's no excuse for them to behave like this. There's no excuse for them to breed poverty. There's no excuse for them to raise ticket prices and raise concession prices and then not follow that up by having the best product on the field. There's no excuse for saying, oh, I owe this to the city of New York and this to my bondsman and all that stuff. There's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for my GM to sell that treading water is somehow making this team better. That's all lies. So I'm just holding them to a higher standard. Why? Well, because you can't have a Hall of Fame player as it stands right now. In fact, you could make the argument you've got 3 Hall of Fame players. You got Big G, you got Garrett Cole, you got Aaron Judge at the tail end of their careers, and you're not trying to put a championship team around them? Just seems like a malfeasance. Let's be honest. Just seems like malfeasance. Astros just worked out an agreement with Japanese corp. Like, and what if the Astros are playing for? I would be surprised. The one thing I am certain of are the Yankees aren't playing 4D chess. That I can be assured of. The Yankees are playing Jenga while the Astros and the Dodgers and the Blue Jays are playing 4D chess. That I'm assured of. And I'm not having you for this. You have a point. Aaron Judge should request a trade. What's he playing for? At the moment, the Yankees ceiling is that of a wildcard team. A one-and-done wildcard team. As of right now, as of today, January 1st, 2026, that's their ceiling. The reality, 4th place team, 3rd place team. That's what they are right now. Their ceiling, wild card, one and done. Ceiling, DS, implosion. That's their ceiling. Sneak through a wild card, just get embarrassed in the DS, which is exactly what happened to them last year. That's their ceiling. They should not be content with that. So yeah, and why should Aaron Judge be content with that? You have a very good point. I would love Aaron Judge to start fighting back because he holds more power than any other Yankee superstar that I've known in my lifetime. He holds a ton of power. Because the Yankees are so broken, they don't really have a front office and they don't really have an ownership. There is a power vacuum, and Aaron Judge could step into that power vacuum and say, you need to put a World Series team around me. And I think Hal would listen. And that's something that Judge does need to do better as a captain. This is it. This is a great point here. Judge picks his friends as teammates. He is part of the problem. I mean, his play on the field isn't part of the problem, but his behavior off the field, even though it's exemplary as a professional, as a Yankee captain, he could do better. He seems just content with bringing in his pals. Cody Bellinger is his pal. He should have been pushing harder for Juan Soto to come back last year. He should have been on the phone with Juan Soto. He should have had a stronger relationship with him. So should the Yankees owner, to be fair. Because that whole Juan Soto thing, that was a sliding doors moment. The Yankees were still the Yankees when they had Juan Soto. When Soto left and went to Queens, that's when the Yankees ceased to be the Yankees. That's the reality. And every window since then, the Yankees have behaved differently. And I do need Aaron Judge to step up and fill that power vacuum. He should be demanding more. He should be knocking down Hal Steinbrenner's door going, what's going on here? He should. He absolutely should. So, yeah, I think you got a point there, Louis. I really do. And I do see it's like, yeah, it's kind of like in Don Mattingly, one of the greatest Yankees of all time. Aaron Judge is probably a better player, but it's very similar. Cashman will overpay for Bellinger, absolutely, and he will complain. But the funny thing is, this is where, again, I'm asking people to watch, to read between the lines more, because Cashman has been complaining that there's not enough righty bats in the roster. Brian, you built that roster. You're the one that is the reason why we don't have any righty bats in the lineup. You are the reason for that. Again, I'm asking those who are watching to read between the lines. Never buy what they sell, because all they're trying to do is to protect their own asses. That's all they're trying to do. They are just basically running in circles to protect their own asses. That's all they're, the Three Stooges asses. That's all it's about. That is all it is about. The Three Stooges asses. All three of them are protecting each other. That's what it's about. Brian says that Hal is, always cares about championships. Total lie. Absolute lie. Aaron Boone, he just goes, yeah, whatever they do, I don't care. I'm under contract. I'm cool. Right. And then Brian Cashman defends Aaron Boone, saying this is great. This is great manager. There's absolutely nothing to back that up, but he says he's the greatest. So does Hal. Why? Because they all want to protect each other. It's all about protecting each other's jobs. That's what it's about. It's not about winning championships. It's about protecting those three guys. Brian protects Hal. Hal protects Brian. Brian protects Boone. Boone protects himself. Brian protects Boone because Brian realizes that he took a massive risk hiring a rookie manager from ESPN, and he's done nothing with almost $1 billion worth of players. He's done absolutely nothing with them over the years. And Brian knows that if he fired him, then it makes Brian Cashman look bad. So he just defends him. That's the Three Stooges for you. There they are. They're all culpable in their own way. They all have culpability. Aaron Boone's a big reason why the Yankees play an entire summer worth of garbage baseball. And he doesn't care that they run the bases poorly or protect the wrong bag and throw a ball over the infield. He doesn't care about that stuff. He's culpable for that. And he couldn't manage a bullpen to save his life. He's culpable for that. Brian Cashman, he's culpable for the fact there's no righty bats in the lineup. He's culpable for the fact that he has $300 million to spend every year, and somehow, once he's reached that $300 million, there's still several positions that he leaves vacant because he can't allocate money properly. He's responsible for that. Hal Steinbrenner is responsible for the entire malfunctioning front office and malfunctioning coaching staff. He's responsible for that. They're all responsible in their own way, but none of them take any responsibility, so they all just depend on each other. Why? Because 3 words, the Three Stooges. I agree with you, Louis. I don't want Belly back either. I think 5-6 years for him is an absolute abomination. But at this point, this free agency has been such a disaster that Bellinger wouldn't be probably the worst thing that could happen to us at this stage. It's been this bad. Yeah, Acevedo's spot on. Cashman is looking for people to blame for his roster. He's the reason why there's not any righty bats. Oh, there's not a lot of righty bats on the market. Maybe we'll need to start platooning. You're the reason for that. You are. You've passed on multiple righty bats. Passed on them all. And you keep adding lefty bats. And now you're looking around going, oh, where are all the righty bats? You're a reason for that. Of course, Cashman would be fired if he weren't for anyone else. So would Boone. Well, we've gone strong for almost 2 hours, and it's been a hell of a rant. It's been good. And I've been really happy to see so many people watching and commenting. You guys in the chat have absolutely killed it. So I want you guys to tell me, how was your New Year's? Did you have a good New Year's? What did you guys do? I hope you guys had a good, prosperous New Year, and I hope you enjoyed it. And so some guys write in. Tell me what you guys did for New Year's. Let's end this show on a happy note. And then we will see what happens moving forward. Donald, A+ rant. Thank you, Armand. I appreciate it, man. My man. Yes, good Christmas and New Year's. I bought some very expensive, large Lego sets. My guy, good job. And my mom gave me a Yankee clock that lights up like an LED Yankee clock. That is really cool. And that's probably more spent on the Yankees than the Yankees have spent on themselves. So there you go. Mom stepped up to the plate. My mom stepped up to the plate. No one else has. Donald is my boy. John the Beagle Dad, he was, when the first, salute to you, John, because for you guys in the chat, when Imai signed for the Astros, Beagle Dad was like, I want to hear a Donald rant. That's what I want to hear. And I've delivered for you. So thanks, man. I appreciate that you're thinking of me. Donald, how did you come up with the My Boy Blue Award? Oh, so for those that are new subs, every single series we have an awards for the series, and one of the awards usually goes to one of our prospects or someone who had a great series, and we call it "You're My Boy Blue Award," the Boy Blue Award. This, you're my boy Blue, you're my boy. Well, A, I love Will Ferrell. B, I love old school and those irreverent thousands comedies. But that's a lot of it. That was the reason why. It's so appropriate. So yeah, it's kind of like a nod to my guy Will Ferrell. I believe it or not, even though I love to rant and scream about the Yankees, I'm a pretty happy guy. I like to have a good time. I like to laugh. I just want the Yankees to make me freaking happy. Well, looks like, all right, cool, man. Your puppy's 8 months old. Oh man, I love dogs. Absolutely love dogs. Armand said stayed home. I actually stayed home for New Year's as well. I watched the Stranger Things finale. That was it. Nothing too earth-shattering. Yeah, it wasn't an exciting New Year's, but I don't really care about New Year's, to be honest. Like, I like Christmas. That's cool. My birthday is right next to Christmas, so we kind of that's kind of tied in. And then by New Year's, I don't really give a shit. I just stay quiet. And so do the Yankees. So there we go. We got that in common. What else we got, guys? That's a very good point here. William killing it here. Cashman is still living off the accomplishments of Gene Michael, not his own. Yep. Absolutely. Kind of reminds me of when Jerry Reese of the Giants took all the credit for Ernie Accorsi's accomplishments and drafting for the Giants. Cashman's the same. He just lived off Gene Michael's roster building. Now, I'm not saying that Cashman didn't do some good moves, like there are some certain moves that he made which are absolutely nailed, like the CC Sabathia in 09. The Mark Teixeira signing was great. The Juan Soto trade was great. He's made some good deals. I still think the Big G trade was good. David Justice was a brilliant trade to help us win a championship. So it's not like he's completely incompetent. He's made some good moves. But right now, he is living off past glories, big time. Armand, happy belated birthday. Thank you, Armand. Appreciate it, man. Really do appreciate it. Thank you so much to everyone that's watched and supported the channel over the year. I think 2025 has been a great year for the channel, and I'm really excited to see what 2026 brings. So that's on that note, I'm going to sign off. There will be a show with myself and Uncle Tats, my co-host, and we will be bringing to you some more Yankee content. So keep an eye out on that. So in the meantime, have a great night, rest of your night, your New Year's Day night, and have a safe night and new year moving forward and all the good stuff. All right. So once again, thank you so much to everyone who watched. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for the A++ rant, John. Thank you, man. I really appreciate the support. And moving forward, have a great night, and we'll see you next time.